All right, y'all. So I broke down and paid the $8.99 for the Netflix to see A Fall from Grace, which we just finished. I will say Breacia Webb and Crystal Fox, I believe that's her name, and Felicia Rashad. They did a good job. Breacia Webb. I don't know her. I'm Unique. Yeah, on that Love That Girl. So, y'all, I do have some notes here. I'm just going to go along with that. A Fall from Grace follows a young lawyer named Jasmine, that is Breacia Webb, who is on another cut and dry case, which they give her all the cases that are just like misdemeanors, just minor cases that she doesn't have to go to trial for. And a mysterious prisoner named Grace, which is played by Crystal Fox, she played in The Heat of the Night back in the day. And I think she plays on The Have and Have Nots. I don't follow that show. She wants to plead guilty for the murder of her husband, and Jasmine is delivering her documents for her to sign, but she sees a piece of evidence that leads her to believe there is more to Grace's case. So she kept asking Grace, like, please tell me what happened. Please tell me what happened. And she didn't want to. But she finally starts to reflect on the heart-wrenching story that brought her behind bars. So Grace's best friend is Felicia Rashad, she was some years older than her. I'm not sure how many years older than her she was. And she was basically trying to tell her to get back into the dating scene. There was a lot going on in this movie. I would definitely say it's Lifetime-ish, y'all. It's Lifetime, and sometimes Lifetime has some good movies. I'm probably gonna spoil it, y'all. So if y'all don't want for it to be spoiled, then I can just sign out right now. So she goes to this gallery. I'm probably gonna be missing some pieces, y'all, because there was a lot going on in this movie. So she goes to an art gallery and she meets this guy with the terrible wig, Makad Brooks.
Was it a wig?
Yes. Oh, anyways, yeah. So she meets him at the art gallery. So he's an artist, and he said he's been all over the country, Ethiopia, and this, that, and the other. And he wears this necklace. It's called a Ezo, I believe that's what it's called. It looks like a mini boomerang type thing. And now that was the kicker too, because he sent her something. What did he send to her job? He sent her something to her job at first. It was like a note. It wasn't flowers though, right? Not at first. It was a note, and she was kind of like, how does he know where I work? Mm-hmm. And yeah, right? And she was like, this dude is young, basically, I say he's probably 15 years younger than her, maybe 10, 15 years younger than her. And she was still on this trip about her ex-husband that married this young girl that was like only 5 years older than their son. So she had been out of the dating scene for like 7 years, I believe she said. So this dude was very persistent with her, and she, talking to her best friend, and she's like, you need to go out with him. You need to go out with him. So she goes out with him finally, and even he goes to church with her. She's trying to put him off, sexually. Oh, gosh, that was, anyway. Grace was getting the groove on. He took her to this magical field of flowers that had fireflies, and she just so in love. She was spinning around, he turned around, and he proposed to her. They got married. And I'm not sure how often they knew each other. It was like 3 months or a little more than that, maybe. Now, Tyler Perry's character played Rory, which I guess he was the main district attorney. I'm not sure. But he kept giving Jasmine a hard time. You know, he called her a millennial. Trying to think, y'all. Because there's a lot going on in this. Lot. Little girl's here to help me. So
she started getting all in trouble.
She was getting in trouble, yeah. I was trying to go into more of Jasmine's character. Okay, so the beginning now, her husband's name is Jordan. I forgot about that, yo. And he's a police officer. So he was at this rooftop of this house, and this old white lady was about to jump off. And she was like, I don't have anything. I don't have nothing. And And I'm like, why they showing this old white lady for? I ain't really understand that. So she jumps off the roof. She died. So he come home and he said, I had a horrible day. She was like, I know you'll tell me about it later. And he told her what happened to the lady. And, So Grace was, told her all about the story and about how she went to work one day and she was talking to her friend on the phone at work, and the secretary was like, the boss wants to see you right away. And she goes in there and she's like, what's going on? And all the bosses were in there, and they told her she took $379,000 from the bank, basically. I'm not sure the specifics. And she's like, I wouldn't do that. I didn't do that. She said they used your ID, your password, your computer, and all this stuff. And she said, I didn't do it. Yeah, signature. That's what it was.
Oh, that was
the signature, right? And they say you're fired, and we want our money back, or we gonna press charges. Okay, so she's like all confused and calling her best friend Sarah, okay, played by Felicia Rashad, and she's just like, I don't know what's happening. And she goes home, and that's where she's talking to her at the house, I believe. And McCall walks in, and then she's acting all like she's disgusted with him. She says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm her friend. He's like, you really want to talk about this in front of your friend? And she told her, no, it's okay. You can go. So then he pulled out all these pictures of cancer patient children in the Fireflies field where he took her to propose. And he said, I did it for you because that's where I proposed, and it was special. And making her feel stupid, basically, because she overheard him downstairs on the phone talking about, you like them fireflies, right? And she's like, who are you talking to? And he was like, don't ever question me. And I'm like, what? Okay. I thought he was gonna start beating her. What was the second day? Don't question. And I forgot what the second thing was. But so he made her feel stupid. What else happened after that? Oh, so she went investigating, right? So she went to this house, 2389 Sycamore Street, I believe that's what it was. And it was old. The house was old and boarded up, and mail piled up in the mailbox and at the door. And I forgot the lady's name that was on the mail. So she's investigating. She go back home. And I'm not sure. It was just boom, boom, boom. You guys have to see it to get all the details. But she went by the house and she heard, what's his face? Makad upstairs. And she heard a female voice, and she busts in the room, and they naked. And he got attitude with her. So what you doing busting up in here? She said, get out my mother effing And he pushed her out the door and locked. He said, "That's why you need to get some new locks on this door." I was like,
Like, what?
And then the little girl was like, "Well, you didn't tell me your mother was gonna be coming home." I was like, "Oh."
Who's that little girl?
Well, she's a little girl to me. I don't know. She probably 20-something. I don't know. So they walking down the stairs. They got their clothes on. She's sitting down somewhere over in the kitchen. I don't know where she's sitting down. And and the girl, I say little girl, and the girl was coming downstairs. "Well, maybe next time your mother won't be home," or something she said about his mother. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is just horrible." And he's just dogging Grace out, just talking about, "You're so nice," and that's what made it hard about this whole thing. And she was trying to tell him to give her money back, and he said, "I'm not gonna do that." And first he told her it was bad people he took money from, and since they was married, that was his money, that's his house. And so basically she beat him in the head with a bat because he was talking mad trash, and he bleeding. His face looked like it was busted up pretty good. She dragged him down the hall and threw him down the basement stairs, and of course she called Sarah, talking about she killed him. And she drove out. She kept driving and driving and driving. She say, I think that's when she called her, after she drove to wherever she was driving to, down this lonely highway, a lonely wooded path. And so she said, Sarah said she's gonna go over there. And since she went over there, it wasn't nobody. And I was like, well, how can they charge her for murder? Nobody. So Tyler Perry's character, Rory, was getting on Jasmine about not being prepared because when Sarah was at the stand, the prosecutor was like, you called her? And she said, yeah, I called her one time about feeding the homeless and baking cookies, whatever. I don't know. Somebody was on the phone for 15 minutes, and the prosecutor was like, your phone records show you were on the phone for 2 minutes. She's like, I don't know what I said. I don't recall. He kept asking her, what did you say? What was it about? And said that she called you once and you called her like twice. And then she tried to say she saw Malcolm, Grace's son, at the scene pulling out the driveway. And she just kept saying she didn't know what she said and this, that, and the other. So the judge kept getting on Jasmine because she wanted to recall Sarah Miller, I guess that was her name, to the stand after the day after, which that day was closing argument. So the judge was like, this is not how this works. So she kept saying it like 5 times. I'm going to call Sarah to the stand. And he's like, I'm going to hold you in contempt. And he threw her in the jail. And that's when Rory, Tyler Perry's character, came in there dissing her. It was like, I was shadowing you this whole time. And I saw the phone records. She said, I just been giving this case 3 weeks. And he said, that is your job to be thorough when you could have just pled her out. And let me see what else happened. So she's looking up. So I guess her husband comes by because he's a police officer. Can you just apologize to the judge so we can go home? So they go home, and they were eating dinner. He told her to eat. She said, "You're not my daddy." And then they arguing a little bit. And he said, "You don't like it when people tell you when you're wrong." Basically, he said, "I saw a fire in your eyes at the beginning of this thing, and since this happened, it went away." He said, "You need to find that fire again." And so let me see what happened next day. What happened next day?
They was in court.
They was in court?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So they was in court, and they said she was guilty. Right? Mm-hmm. And then Tyler Perry got on her when everybody left.
Oh, wait. Before that.
Uh-huh.
What's her face? Sarah,
Yeah.
the one that was trial.
Uh-huh.
She walked past her son and Claire. And that's
Grace
what
was the one that was Grace.
Grace,
Grace.
Grace,
Yeah. So Grace saw. She told Grace that she would take care of her baby. Thank you. Because her son was like 30 years old and married. But anyway, he's like, she was all patting him up. I'm going to take care. So she saw that same Urzo boomerang looking necklace around her neck. And then she started flashing back, I guess, about to the gallery and to the photographer. Her friend was about. I gotta watch it. I feel like I gotta watch it again, but I really don't want to. Just to see how it all kind of connect. So she's yelling for the guard because she's back in prison. She's like, guard, because she's remembering all this stuff about her friend, thinking she was telling her friend, her best friend, mind you. So, where was I? Tyler Perry was getting on her about losing the case, basically, and she's feeling bad. And I'm not sure. I guess her husband was taking her home.
Yeah.
Her husband was taking her home, and she said, I'm going to go past Miss Sarah's house because I know she's just as devastated about this as I am. And she said, just go ahead and drop me off right here. He said, you sure? It's about to rain. And da, da, da. She's like, I'll be fine. So she sees Cicely. Now, Cicely Tyson character kept peeping around corners like earlier in the movie. Like, what? I didn't even know that was her at first.
Right.
And peeping out windows. And so she's walking down the street trying to get away from Miss Sarah's house. And Jasmine like, I'll take you home, She said, I want to go home to my house. My house. I'm trying to get. She went to the bank. It's the first of the month or something. I was like, oh man. She was cashing it out. She said, I'm gonna take you back to Miss Sarah's house. She said, I want to go to my house. That was so sad. I want to go to my house. So she's sitting at the kitchen table. And she said, I guess she heard. Did she hear something? She might have heard some noise or something in the basement. So she said, you sit right here. I'll be right back. And so she go down there and she started some stink. She didn't say that, but. And so all these elderly people chained up by the hand. All messed up. It was probably like 20 of them. I don't know. And then Makai, I forgot his name. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I forgot his name on the show. His name was Shannon. So he come from behind and chain her up in this little closet looking thing. Mm-hmm. Then Felicia Rashad come on. I'm like, what? Because earlier in the thing, they kind of brushed hands because I'm like, was he with her too? I didn't know what was going on. But, yo, so Felicia Rashad come home with groceries and Cicely Tyson sitting at the table. I didn't let her in. I didn't let her in. And so, did she go down in the basement? Mm-hmm. I guess she went down in the basement. She was like, she told Jasmine something. I forget. Yeah, you should have stopped while you had while you were hit. I don't know what she said. So then, her husband was trying to arrest somebody, and child, and then he said, "Don't you move," because they was like, "Check your computer," and they had Miss Sarah mugshots, and I'm like, "How come they ain't checked that before?" And so he knew that his wife was going to her house, so. Chad, he done sped off and left the dude in the handcuffs. I'm like, dang, well, what he supposed to do? I don't know if he took off or not. But so he gets to the house knocking on the door, and she's like, your wife's not here. Oh, innocent. So she closed the door, and then he calls her. Then her cell phone is on the table, so he heard it, and he cracked the door in. So then he locked her up in handcuffs. And he went downstairs and Makai was trying to beat him up and they were fighting and the gun flew away and she bust out the room, bust the chair. I was like, she could have been did that and took all the stuff off and her mouth was gagged and She shot McCall, so he was dead. And her husband's like, it's all right. So then they was like, yo, it's the mother and son duo. And so apparently Felicia Rashad got away, got to another house where this lady apparently, a lady needed help, but she had money. So she's like, she was in the financial industry, wasn't she? And her daughter was like, yes. And so it kind of ended right there. But before that, the older white lady that jumped off the roof, that's where she lived at, y'all, at that house. So she took everything from everybody, all the older people, and they said 16 middle-aged people, which was Grace, one of them, and bigamy. So he was marrying all these ladies, supposedly, and they weren't even married. Y'all, I don't know. In the beginning, when the lady about to jump off the roof, I said, wow, this looks good. And then when I saw Tyler Perry's wig, it threw me off. Worth watching?
I guess.
I give it a C. Well, I was going to do letters. A C?
Yeah.
C plus, because you shouldn't have to pay for it. It should be on Lifetime. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. If you saw it, tell me what you thought. All right, bye.